So we got to go to a meeting last night, and quite honestly, I didn't really want to go to a meeting. Before we got home, we had actually went out to eat, and I was stuffed. I was full. Like, I was uncomfortably full with all the food that I had just eaten, and I wanted to go home and just sit on my couch and take a nap. Like, that's how full I was. But my brother was, like, oh, you can't miss a meeting because of me. You can't miss a meeting just because you're full. We got to get going. Come on, get up. And I was like, fine, let's go. Like, I really didn't want to go. And honestly, if my brother wasn't there, I probably would just, fell asleep on the couch and not have went. But I did go because of him. But so fortunately for him, he got to attend 2 AA meetings with me, and he really enjoyed it. Like, he, just kept saying, like, how happy he was that I was able to, go to a room and talk with other people about the same issues that I have. The story may not be the same, but the disease is still the same. And he was so excited that, I actually get to go, to a room and talk, honestly and out loud with a bunch of people. And he had actually mentioned, a couple of times, like, do they make meetings like this without an addiction? And I was like, absolutely they do. My brother, had some hard times in his life. And, he thinks that, he could have been able to cope through those times if he had met other people with the same issue. So, it really opened his eyes, and he was actually really excited about going because he really enjoyed hearing other people and their stories too. Like, we're all human. We just have this disease. And so last night they actually were talking about rock bottom. And, some people have had more severe rock bottoms than me, but to me, my rock bottom was really bad. I had, drank at work 24/7. I had to go to rehab. I crashed my car into another parked car. And so, that cost about $36,000 in damage. I fell, hit my eye. I was an absolute hot mess. My husband told me he wanted to divorce me. And I was literally at the brink of losing everything. And for me, that was my rock bottom. Like, for me, losing my kids, losing my house, losing my car, losing my job was at the point of, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. And when I talked about it last night, I had mentioned, like, I had struggled with the first step, just admitting that I was actually powerless over alcohol, admitting the fact that, I can't stop this on my own. All these things that kept happening to me, all these bad things that just kept happening, I wasn't admitting that it was due to alcohol, and I could not stop it whenever I wanted. It was one of those things that, like, if you're eating badly, and you're eating a bunch of junk food, it's a lot easier to go and reach for the salad than it is to not reach for another bottle to drink. Like, some things in your life you can control, like when you've gained a bunch of weight, it's easy to be like, you know what, I need to go for a walk today, or I need to not eat that cupcake, or whatever. Like, and for me, it is easy for me to do that, but I know some people can't. Some people, they have to have that cupcake, they have to have that sugar, they have to have that coffee, they have to have whatever it is. Like, everybody has their own thing that they turn to when they're in times of stress or distress or anxious or fear or whatever, whatnot. And some people can turn away from it, some can't. For me, alcohol is my way of coping. And some people, it may be their coping mechanism is self-harm. Some, it may be overeating, some may be undereating, some may be pornography or video games or whatever it is. We find a way to fill that void with something that's causing self-destruction rather than filling it with self-love. And I know I did not fill mine with self-love. I hated myself. I would think so horribly of myself. I would think that I'm useless. I'm the worst person on the planet. I'm a terrible human being. And instead of filling it with self-love, I was filling it with self-hate. And that's why I drank. And so just once again, hearing all these other people with the same story, they all said the same thing, just with their own spin on it. And my brother was just like, this is insane. I never knew something like this existed. I never knew that there were other people just like you. And I'm like, yeah, there is. There are other people out there. And I know that there's other people out there with the same, coping mechanism that he may have. If he has one, I don't know, And so he was very interested in it. And so he actually even mentioned, like, I may even go to like an AA meeting one time, just when I'm in New York, just to see, if there's a difference, in the, different areas and stuff like that. And I was like, absolutely, try it out. You don't have to say anything. You can just be quiet and listen. But it was very interesting. It was very interesting to gain somebody else's, aspect of what they felt was going on. So, rock bottoms are hard. Unfortunately, with rock bottoms, you can always go deeper. When you think that you've hit that point, it can go lower. I don't want to go lower. I want to stay where I'm at. I want to dig out of my hole. I don't want to be in that hole anymore. So, I hope everybody else is working their way out of it. I hope they're building their ladder to get out. I hope they're taking the steps that they need to get out of their rock bottom, because no one wants to be there. But today's a beautiful day, and I will talk to you this afternoon.